Think about the last time you said goodbye to someone. Not a casual wave across a parking lot. Not a text message that faded into silence. I mean a real goodbye. A conversation that ended. A door that closed. A moment where another human being walked away from you. Or you walked away from them. What did you do? Did you pull away quickly, almost before the conversation finished? Your body already turning before the words left your mouth? Did you linger, finding one more thing to say, one more question to ask, stretching the moment like a thread you were terrified to break? Did you shut down entirely, your face going flat, your voice dropping into something formal and distant, as though you'd already left while still standing there? Or did you over-explain your departure, offering reasons and promises and reassurances that nobody asked for goodbyes, for ways of ending a conversation, for ways of walking away, or watching someone walk away from you? One of these is you, not sometimes, not occasionally, not when you are tired or distracted or having a bad day, consistently, predictably, automatically, the way you have been saying goodbye for as long as you can remember. Take a moment now. Do not rush past this. I want you to pause. Picture your last real goodbye, the one where the connection was genuine and the separation was felt. Watch yourself in that memory as though you were watching a stranger. Watch what your body did. Watch where your eyes went. Watch what happened to your voice. Which of these four is you? Hold your answer. Because what Carl Jung discovered about this moment, this tiny, seemingly insignificant behavior that you have never once thought about, will change the way you understand every relationship you have ever had, and every relationship you will ever have. If you are the first goodbye, the one who leaves before the conversation is actually ended, there is something you need to understand about what this is doing to your life. You probably believe this is just efficiency. You are someone who does not waste time, someone who does not get caught up in unnecessary sentiment. You say what needs to be said, and then you go. Clean, simple, no drama. But here is what is actually happening. Every time you exit quickly, you are sending a message that you do not know you are sending. To the other person, your rapid departure reads as emotional unavailability. It reads as coldness. It reads as though the connection meant nothing to you, even when it meant everything. And the people who care about you feel this. They feel the door close before they were finished. They feel the conversation end while they were still in the middle of it. They feel abandoned, not by your absence, but by your speed, by the way you leave no space for anything real to land. Over time, this does something devastating. It trains people to stop investing in you. Why would they open up to someone who is already halfway out the door? Why would they risk vulnerability with someone who treats every ending like an escape? You are not protecting yourself from being hurt. You are protecting yourself from being loved. Because love requires staying, and staying is the one thing you have never learned to do. And here's the part that Jung would point to with heartbreaking precision. The person you are actually abandoning again and again is yourself. The child inside you who wanted to stay, who wanted to be kept, who wanted someone to say, "Do not go yet. I am not finished with you." That child is still standing in a doorway somewhere in your memory, watching someone leave. And every quick exit you perform as an adult is you reenacting that moment. Except now you play the role of the one who leaves, because being the one who leaves feels safer than being the one who is left. But safety is not the same as freedom. And what feels like freedom to you, the ability to walk away without looking back, is actually the most sophisticated prison Jung ever described. It is a wound that is learned to walk. And as long as it is walking, it is running. If you are the second goodbye, the one who cannot seem to end the conversation, what you are experiencing is not warmth. It is hunger. You probably believe this means you are a deeply caring person, that you value connection, that you are the one who makes sure nobody feels abandoned, nobody feels unseen, nobody feels like they did not matter. But here is what is actually happening. The energy you pour into extending every goodbye is energy you are draining from yourself. Constantly, silently. Every conversation ends with you depleted, emotionally, mentally, sometimes physically, because you have been working the entire time. working to keep the connection alive, working to read their face for signs of disinterest, working to manufacture one more moment of warmth so you can walk away feeling like you did enough to earn the relationship. And over time, this produces the very outcome you are terrified of. People feel the weight of your need. They feel the pressure of your expectation, the unspoken demand that they give you enough reassurance to calm the panic that lives beneath your words. And when people feel that pressure, they pull away, not because they do not care about you, but because nobody can carry another person's fear of abandonment indefinitely. It is too heavy, and when they pull away, it confirms your deepest terror, that you are too much, that your need drives people off. That love for you will always be conditional on performing it perfectly. So you try harder, you linger longer, you send the follow-up text, you ask one more question, and the cycle tightens, and the wound deepens. Jung would tell you that what you are actually doing is trying to control the uncontrollable. Separation is a fact of existence. Every conversation must end. Every hello contains within it the seed of goodbye. And your refusal to accept this, your desperate, exhausting effort to stretch every ending into something that feels safe, is not preserving your relationships. It is suffocating them, and it is suffocating you. The effect on your life is this: you never rest. You are never simply present. You are always managing, always calculating, always performing. And the very connection you are fighting to preserve is the one you are never fully able to experience, because you are too busy trying to ensure it will not end to actually inhabit it while it is happening. But before I tell you about the remaining two goodbyes, I want you to notice something important. If you recognize yourself in the quick exit, you probably felt a flicker of judgment when I described the lingering. And if you recognize yourself in the lingering, you probably felt a flicker of something else, perhaps envy, perhaps anger, when I described a quick exit. This is not random. Jung called it projection. The quick exit secretly envies the lingering's ability to attach. The lingering secretly envies the quick exit's ability to walk away. These two styles are not opposites. They are two faces of the same wound, two different answers to the same unbearable question. What do I do with the fact that everyone I love will eventually leave me? Neither answer is wrong, but both answers come at a cost. And as long as you are paying that cost unconsciously, as long as the wound is driving while you sit in the back seat, you will keep arriving at the same destination, alone in a way that feels like the only kind of alone you have ever known. If you are the third goodbye, the one who goes cold, who shuts down, whose face goes flat, and whose voice drops into something formal and distant, your wound is perhaps the most invisible, even to yourself. You probably do not even notice when it happens. One moment you are present, laughing, connected, fully engaged, and the next, something has shifted. But the shift does not feel like a decision. It feels automatic, involuntary, like a door that closes by itself. Here is what is actually happening. You cannot tolerate real intimacy, not because you do not want it. You want it desperately, but because your nervous system learned, before you had words, that intimacy and danger are the same thing. The person who was supposed to protect you is also the person who hurt you. Love and threat were the same face. So your body developed a survival response that is as elegant as it is tragic. The moment connection becomes too real, you dissociate. You split. A separate part of you takes over, a part that feels nothing, that needs nothing, that can say goodbye without flinching because it was never really there to begin with. The effect on your life is devastating in ways you may not be able to see clearly. The people who love you experience whiplash. They meet the warm version of you, the present version, the connected version, and they trust it. They invest in it. And then, without warning, that version disappears and is replaced by a stranger who says, "It was good seeing you," like a business associate. A stranger who offers a handshake where there should be a hug. A stranger who looks through them instead of at them. And they do not understand. They replay the conversation, searching for the moment they did something wrong. They cannot find it because it was never there. The thing they did wrong was getting too close. And you cannot tell them that, because you do not know it yourself. Over time, this pattern creates a life where the people closest to you are the ones who feel most confused by you. Your partners feel rejected without knowing why. Your friends feel an invisible wall that they cannot climb. Your family feels a distance they cannot name. And you feel isolated, not because you want to be, but because intimacy itself triggers a shutdown response that you never chose and cannot control. Jung would call this the shadow of the terrible parent. The internalized contradiction of needing comfort from the same source that brought pain. It is not your fault, but it is your inheritance. And unless you bring it into consciousness, you will keep disappearing in front of people who love you, and you will keep wondering why you feel so alone, even when you're surrounded by people who want to be close to you. If you are the fourth goodbye, the one who explains, who justifies, who offers reasons and promises and reassurances with every departure, your wound hides in the one place you would never think to look, your own politeness. You probably believe this makes you a considerate person, someone who communicates clearly, someone who does not want to leave anyone feeling uncertain or dismissed. You are the thoughtful one, the considerate one, the one who makes sure everyone is okay before you leave the room. Here is what is actually happening. You do not believe your presence has value on its own. Somewhere very early, you learn that you must earn the right to exist in other people's lives, and that means you must also earn the right to leave. Your departure requires justification because your arrival was never fully deserved. So every goodbye becomes a negotiation for continued permission to belong. You are not just saying goodbye. You are securing your place. You are proving once again that you are worthy of the connection that is now ending. The effect on your life is a kind of exhaustion that you have normalized so completely you no longer recognize it as exhaustion. You are never just present. You are always on trial, and the trial never ends. Every conversation requires a closing argument. Every departure requires evidence of your worthiness. And when the goodbye is over, you replay it like a lawyer reviewing testimony. Did you say enough? Did you promise the right things? Did they believe you? Will they still want you tomorrow? This constant self-auditing consumes energy you do not have. It fills your mind with noise during moments that should be quiet. It turns every relationship into a performance. And performances are exhausting because they can never stop. The curtain never falls. The audience never leaves. You are always on stage, and you are always being judged, except the judge is you, and you have never once found yourself innocent. Jung would point to the wound beneath this, the wound of conditional love. You learn that love must be earned, that you must explain yourself into being wanted, that your existence is not enough. You must build a case for it, repeatedly, forever. And as long as you believe that, no amount of reassurance will ever be sufficient, because reassurance is external and the wound is internal. You are trying to fill a hole that cannot be filled from the outside. Now, here is where this test changes. You may have found yourself in more than one of these goodbyes. Perhaps you are different styles with different people, a quick exit with colleagues, a lingering with your partner, a cold cut with family, an over-explainer with friends. Perhaps you shift between them depending on who is leaving and who is being left. This is not inconsistency. This is the shadow adapting. The wound is not a fixed label. It is a living pattern. And living patterns adjust to their environment. They wear different masks. They deploy different strategies. The real question is not which single mask you wear. The real question is, which mask appears when the stakes are highest? When the person you are saying goodbye to is someone you cannot afford to lose. That is your primary wound. That is the one running the show. And now I am going to tell you something that may be the most difficult thing you hear in this entire video. You probably think the goal is to change your goodbye style, to become someone who says goodbye differently, more healthily, more securely, more like those people who seem to move through life without all this weight, without the turning away, without the clinging, without the shutting down, without the explaining. That is not the goal. The goal is not to stop being who you are. The goal is to understand who you are fully, completely, without flinching. So the pattern stops driving the car while you sit in the back seat wondering why you keep ending up in the same painful places. There's a profound difference between being controlled by a wound and carrying it consciously. The wound does not disappear. But when you see it clearly, when you can name it, when you can trace its shape, when you can feel it activating your body and say, there is, instead of becoming it, it loses its power to steer your life. It becomes something you hold rather than something that holds you. There is no single correct answer in this test. And if you have been waiting for me to tell you which goodbye style is the healthy one, I will not give you that, because that is not what this test actually measures. What this test actually measures is your relationship to endings. Can you face a goodbye without abandoning yourself? Can you let someone walk away without becoming the child who was left behind? Can you walk away from someone without becoming the person who left? Can you hold the tension of separation, the ache, the uncertainty, the silence, without numbing it, without stretching it, without explaining it away? Jung wrote that the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And becoming who you truly are requires that you stop running from the child you used to be. That child, the one who learned what it meant to be left, who invented a strategy for surviving goodbyes, is still inside you, still bracing, still holding the door handle, still reaching for one more word, still going cold, still explaining. That child did not fail you. That child saved you. These goodbye styles were not mistakes. They were solutions, brilliant, life-saving solutions, invented by a mind too young to know that the threat would not last forever. You are not broken. You are defended, and the defenses serve their purpose. But they are automatic now, and what was once a shield has become a wall, and a wall, no matter how well constructed, keeps out as much as it keeps in. So what you do with this? You bring it into the light. The next time you say goodbye, a real goodbye, to someone who matters, I want you to notice, not change, not yet, just notice. Watch your body. Is it already turning away? Watch your voice. Is it searching for one more thing to say? Watch your face. Do you feel the wall coming down? Watch your words. Are you reaching for an explanation that nobody asked for? Notice without judgment. And then, after the goodbye, speak silently to the child who built that pattern. I see what you did. I see why you did it. I am not angry at you. I am grateful. You kept me safe. But I am not in that room anymore. I can leave and return. I can say goodbye without being destroyed. This is not therapy. This is the beginning of consciousness. The moment when the pattern stops being your identity and becomes something you hold in your awareness. And in that awareness, it loses its grip. Carl Jung said, I'm not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. Your goodbye style was what happened to you. What you choose to become, that is still being written. You already took one step in that direction today. Share your number in the comments, not for the algorithm, but because naming it, bringing it out of shadow and into language, is the first act of freedom. And freedom begins the moment you stop hiding from what you are